Today, I'm going to talk about why great leaders fail sometimes. Yes, it does happen. With leaders, they may be at any level. All those who are listening to me at this time, I'm sure some of you are already great leaders. Could be in any area. You may be in business, social life, sports, or cultural arena, political life, or maybe any other area. And some may be just stepping towards those great heights. Now, when some leaders reach these great heights, they obviously have some great leadership qualities. There are some parachuter leaders also who acquire those positions because of their dynastic inheritance. Out of these, some of them got great grooming from their gurus, parents, mentors, and finally proved to be great leaders. And there are a large number of such examples in the history books about great kings and even in the political arena. I can mention the names of Mukesh Ambani and Kumar Mangalam as great business leaders who inherited, but then they continued to take their businesses to great heights. On the other hand, there have been leaders who reached the great echelons purely on the basis of their hard work, smart work, competency, and a long list of leadership qualities. They are grassrooters. These leaders climbed the ladder step by step, faced difficulties and even failures on the way, but they converted each failure into stepping stone to success and reached the zenith. I can easily name Narayan Murthy as a great business leader and Narendra Modi as a great political leader of this variety. Now, we also know the stories of a large number of such great leaders, whether of category A or category B, who could not maintain that leadership position for a long time. You will know some such stories in the political arena and a very large number of them in the business environment. It is said that it is not very easy to reach the top, but it is much more difficult to stay at the top. Why such great leaders fail sometimes? I asked this question to some of my friends from IIT Kharagpur who are a part of a special interest group, KGPNs for Leadership. I delved upon those points as well as did some thinking on the topic myself and came to some conclusions. In order to appreciate these points, you may also think of some leaders who were great, but they tumbled. According to me, a large number of these great leaders are not able to digest their great heights with humbleness and they become arrogant. It is this arrogance that leads to many other negative traits that start becoming the part of personality of this once upon a time great leader. They create an aura of awe around them. Their senior managers don't feel comfortable in giving them free and frank feedback. They tell only those things to the leader that he or she wishes to listen. Some of these arrogant leaders even become abusive to those who try to tell them the truth and the reality. This results into drifting away of the sincere, dedicated, and competent managers. So the leader is now surrounded by the so-called sycophants and chamchas who keep the leader in good humor by giving him or her the rosy picture, though that may be far from reality. By this time, the leader becomes overconfident and dictatorial. Among the political leaders, I can name Mrs. Indira Gandhi. She fits into this category very well. She started believing in her chamchas and sycophants, and that is how she imposed emergency on this country, and then you know the story. Now, there may be another category of great leaders who continue to remain humble and there is no air of arrogance around them, but still they fail. though they don't become arrogant, but their great strides of success make them overconfident and they take their leadership position for granted, forgetting that nothing is permanent in this world. They become complacent, slack, and even lazy because the company or the organization is doing very well. So they stop innovation too because their product is selling very well in the market. Nokia mobile phones and Kodak may be considered in this category. These companies didn't innovate themselves with changing times. Remember that your top class worker may not become top class supervisor. Similarly, a top class supervisor may not become a good manager. In-house promotions is a very good philosophy, but when any organization makes quantum jumps and in fact starts operation in higher orbits, your existing talent may not be good enough. You may have to reorganize, get experts from the market and even from your competitors. And you should hire top managers who are actually smarter than yourself. If you don't do this, be ready for the slide. Many leaders, while climbing the ladders of leadership, had an excellent connect with their managers, supervisors, and even workers. Their interpersonal relationships were excellent. They remembered the names of their key workers and even had some knowledge about their family members. But then, over a period of time, the organization became so big that it was humanly impossible to maintain that level of connect. So the leadership must innovate new methods of maintaining connect with the people. It could be just a giant birthday celebrations on the last Saturday of the month. You as a leader go there and connect with a large number of them in just 10 minutes. You could invite your top performers for weekly breakfast meetings. Many times, the absence of this personal connect and lack of communication lead to failure of the leadership. When your organization was small, you were doing probably 10 things yourself and were monitoring another 10 projects or operations yourself, and that too minutely. As the organization grows, you may be able to cope up with increasing workload for some time, but not for a long time. So, you must learn to delegate. There will definitely be some very important tasks that you may still like to do yourself. And there will be some that you may like to delegate and monitor. And a large number of them you may like to delegate and just forget. Those who refuse to delegate must be ready for collapse of the organization sooner or later. These days, most of the leaders rely a lot on the data and analytics provided to them to make important decisions. Sometimes the wrong interpretation of this info derived from the data may lead to wrong decisions. And many other times, the overconfidence of these top leaders make them take decisions based on their gut feeling. The failure of Tata's Nano car may be described under this category. Today we are in the August month of 2020. The times are changing very fast. A mobile phone becomes obsolete every 12 months, if not 6 months. Similarly, the leaders also become obsolete if they don't keep themselves up to date with changing times and changing needs and expectations of the customers. Those who keep training themselves through self-learning, conferences, seminars, and webinars will be in a better position to steer their organization through the turbulence of changing times. Those who refuse to change, learn, unlearn, and relearn will become history sooner or later. And if you feel that you are getting old, not able to keep up with technology and changing times, just retire gracefully and hand over your business empire or the political party or the social organization that you created to the new generation. I leave you here. Think yourself who retired gracefully and retained the respect and dignity, and who didn't, despite becoming obsolete. Thank you.